health coaching because I really wanted to help people on like a grander scale, not just say, here's a diet, here's a meal plan, here's your workouts, go nuts. And they'll get results. Every time you restrict someone's, nutrition and get them moving more, and when they haven't, they're going to get results. You can cut carbs. It's not a genius thing. We know if you cut carbs out, you're going to lose weight, but that's kind of what got me into the rut that I was in, the binge eating, the emotional eating, not being able to stick to it. So once I came off a competition, I was like, it was just insane, the ups and downs I went through, and that caused me a lot of issues. So some of the biggest reasons why we can't stick to a goal, first and foremost, is when you get to your goal, when you think, oh, you know what, I'm here, like, this is great. And then you kind of go off track because you're starting to feel a little comfortable, right? Because you've reached your goal. So you kind of go off track, and then you wake up the next day and you're thinking, oh man, like I really went off track. And then you kind of look at yourself and you kind of examine the situation and you're like, but I feel fine and I didn't put on any weight, and so I'm good. So that day you think, well, if I can eat like that and I wake up and I'm fine, then I can continue to do that. So you do it again. Wake up again and you're like, oh no, I'm still good, I feel good. And then you do it again. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh my goodness, I had too many agains. And all of a sudden that weight starts creeping up because you get too comfortable. You think, oh, I reached my goal, now I can go back to my old habits and I'll be fine. But that's not how it works. And it's logical. It's even common sense that's not going to work, but we still do it. Because the reason why you still do it, because you haven't changed your actual habits around food. So you've been dieting, you've been restricting calories, you're working out like mad, but you actually haven't really changed your habits around food. And that's your relationship to food. You've probably gone too restrictive. And that's why you kind of get off of it, right? If you actually change your habits, not just eat healthy and move, that's, part of, like, that's a small part of what happens, or the process is what you eat and how much you move. It's a part of the process, but it's not the whole process. Another thing is you start on something and then it is hard to do. I agree with you, Ted. But if you actually change how you are around food, who you are around food, and why you're eating, and when you're eating, and where you're eating, and you really work on those habits, I've done it. I don't crave sugar. My hormones are in balance. I have a ton of energy. So it can be done. It just takes time. It takes a lot of time. So 12 weeks isn't going to do it. Hell, 6 months might not even do it. It took me a year to finally have a better relationship with food and my body. But another thing too is you start on a plan. You start on track, and then you start getting information from different sources. You start Googling stuff. And then the dude at the gym tells you, oh, I don't know why you're doing that. Cut your carbs out. Just don't eat carbs. You'll be good. You'll lose weight really quick. Like, blah, blah, blah. So you start getting all this information instead of listening to one source, a source that you obviously went to and trusted. And you start listening to all this other crap. Like, you got all these people going like this in your ear, and you end up screwing yourself right up. If you want to improve your health, stop falling for gimmicks, stop falling for fad diets, stop falling for all this crap that's out there that keeps putting you back where you were. It's not rocket science in the sense of, we know what is good for us and what is not good for us. So part of it is just the accountability portion, which is huge. Sometimes we're so into our own feelings and we're so into our body, we don't see the shit that other people see. You don't see what your coach sees. And that's all these little habits that you've created that you can't break that have put you where you are. So you keep doing the same things over and over again, which is the definition of insanity. Because if you're expecting a different result by doing the same patterns, you're not going to get it. So it's really important that if you want to create a healthy lifestyle, it can't be about a diet. It can't. It can't. It can't be about restriction. It can't be about just reducing calories and eating certain foods because someone told you you need to eat whatever to get results. It can't be about supplements and fat burners and all this bullshit. It can't. I've been there and I fucked myself right up. So it can't be about that. It has to be about systematically changing your lifestyle one step at a time. It's about your gut health. It's about the connection between your brain and your gut, getting that gut healthy, because that will dissipate like anxiety, nervous energy, sleeping better, all those things. We don't think about the hormones and the neurotransmitters and all the other stuff that's going on inside our body. We need to understand that to be able to say, oh my God, like no wonder I've screwed myself up, right? So understanding what's going on inside, we can't see what's going on in there. And that's another reason why we don't reach our goals, is because I think we just think we're just like the shell or something. We don't realize that our system is very intricate and there's lots going on there. And if you don't understand what's happening, you're going to keep treating your body the same way you've been treating it because you can't see what's going on. So it doesn't matter to you, right? But one day it will matter to you, trust me. Also, I was going to say something else here and I had it written down and now it's like gone out of my head, but that's fine. Also, I think one of the biggest issues about not reaching your goals is just not goal setting properly. You are aiming for a look. Like, I want to lose 20 pounds, which is great. That's definitely an outcome, and it should be an outcome. You don't want your body fat to be in an unhealthy state because, as we know, it causes a slew of health issues. But at the same time, if it's always just about a look, you're going to constantly be on a scale. You're going to be constantly standing in front of the mirror. You're constantly going to be lifting up your shirt to see if you have a six-pack yet. You're going to be looking for all these things that don't matter to your health. And, I've had so many women come to me and say, my goal is to get a six-pack. Well, why do you want a six-pack? Because it's a challenge, okay? And why do you need the challenge? If they need a challenge, it's not. And they feel that that's one thing that they can control because it's on them. They can control it with diet. They can control it with this. It's not that they need the six-pack, and it certainly isn't about their health. So that aim to get this look just drives you deeper, deeper, deeper into a hole, right? It causes body dysmorphia. It causes a bad relationship with food. It causes all sorts of mental disorder, not mental, sorry, that's a bad word to use, mood disorders. So anxiety, nervous energy, panic attacks, anger, frustration, all those things. If you're feeling that on a regular basis, that is because your hormones and your neurotransmitters and all that stuff isn't flowing right, and you've caused that from diet. We create our own gut issues through stress, through poor eating, and especially as we age, as we get older, that just gets worse because we have put our body through so much, and there's so much more stressors, especially now with careers and social media doesn't help because that's telling us, okay, you need to look like this, and if you don't look like this, you ain't doing shit. Or if you're not deadlifting this much, then you ain't doing shit. But that's not the case. Everyone's health journey is different, and it should be about things like I even posted the other day about, I want to see transformations where somebody's saying, you know what? Besides the weight loss that I've had, I have a ton of energy. I was able to slowly change my relationship with food to now where I don't think about food 24/7. I don't have to restrict anything. I eat balanced and I feel healthy and I feel good and I lost weight. My cholesterol is is better. My blood pressure went down. Like all these things, because at the end of the day, the six pack isn't going to mean much to you at 65 when your health is shit, right? So I think we have to stop doing that. And as coaches, we have a responsibility to educate people on what health really is. And I feel like the industry is going in a very, very wrong direction. And I don't want that for my clients. I don't want that for women that I know. And I definitely don't want that for myself. So I did a blog post the other day, 7 reasons why you aren't reaching your health goals. So if you want to go check that out, you might be surprised at number 7, but it's true. And kind of like a little hint to it is another reason why we don't seem to stick to our goals is because, oh, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. Is we spend so much time listening to me, as people like me, on live videos, or we go on YouTube, or we're reading blogs, or we're reading books, or reading magazines, and we're compiling all this information, and we don't do shit with it. If you're gonna look into stuff, you're looking into it because you think you need it, and you believe you need help, and you want to do something, so you collect all this information and you do nothing with it. So that's like me as a trainer. I got all these certifications. I got tons of certs on my walls right now. I'm just finishing up my practical part for my NLP practitioner. I'm going to be taking more courses coming up, but I'm a firm believer. I could take all these courses, I could take all my certifications, and I could file all the workbooks and the certifications on a shelf and tell everybody I got all these certifications, but not actually use the information that I acquired to help my clients. So it's kind of pointless. It's useless, right? But trainers do it. They'll go to all these courses and they get all these information because they're trying to do this and they're trying to do too much at once. Then they have no idea how to use the information. They don't know how to implement it because there's too much information. They don't know what to do with it. So they can't even help their clients properly because they're overloaded with information and don't know how to simplify it and use it to benefit their business and their clients. So it's the same thing with you. You can go compile all this information. You can have diets and books and magazines and all this stuff, but that's not going to do you any good if you're not using it properly. So my biggest thing for all of you is when you go on a fitness journey, I don't even like saying that anymore, when you go on a health journey, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons and that you're doing it for your health. Because just because you're on a diet, or just because you're going to the gym, or just because you're taking supplements, or just because you are wanting to lose weight or look better, that doesn't mean you're doing it healthy at all. Trust me. Trust me, because I can finally look at myself in the mirror and be like, you know what? For 48, you got it going on, girl. You got it going on. And I'm good with that. I'm not perfect. I don't have a 6-pack right now, but I'm, I don't care. I don't care, because that 6-pack isn't paying my bills. That 6-pack isn't driving my passion to help others. That 6-pack isn't doing shit for me, except for all it did is make me feel like crap, is what it made me do. Stop what? I did say I was happy with how I look. So I think, especially for me being at the stage that I'm at and been through everything that I've been through. I lived in Miami for 3 years. Now, as a woman living in Miami for 3 years, and no, dieting is not important. Dieting is terrible. No one should diet. I lived in a city where it was all about how you looked and, how good your body was, like how nice your butt was, and that was what it was all about. And it was a huge eye-opener for me, because after coming back from that, it made me not really think all that great about myself. So now as a health coach, what I really want to do for women is just make them feel better about themselves and stop focusing on what they do or don't see in the mirror, and stop worrying about what the scale says and what number they're at or not at, and really just focus on being the healthiest version of themselves. And by doing that, you will get the outcome of weight loss, you will get the outcome of more energy, you will get the outcome of feeling better about yourself, and that just comes along with it. It takes time, it takes longer than going on a strict diet, because you're not going to lose 20 pounds in 12 weeks by just fully focusing on living a balanced lifestyle, in the sense of balanced meals and not being super restrictive. It'll take time, but trust me, you will get there, and you'll be glad that you did it that way.